Every day I dey think of you. From Lagos to Ibadan, I dey miss
They said
you.
if I popped the right balloon, I'd find my soulmate. That inside those thin walls of blue and gold lay the promises of love, devotion, and forever. But when the confetti settled, all I found was something else. Wait and hear me out. My name is Zara, and this is how I learned that sometimes chasing love can break you more than being alone.
Now only you I want, now you I need. If you give me small shakara, I go wait oh. If you vex, you go
Yes,
think
that
you
was me
better,
at my
yes,
cousin
oh.
Mercy's traditional wedding. She's just 21 years old. I kept thinking to myself, what's the rush? She's way too young. But they gave me the SOEB. So I showed up looking my best, like a good big cousin. Honestly, this was already the fourth wedding in my family this year. I won't lie, I really enjoyed the celebration. The food, the music, and all the village gossip. And her husband? He's so handsome, with money and class. It felt nice seeing my relatives again, and being back in the village was always so much fun. The next morning, I was in my parents' kitchen at their village house, cooking something quick before heading back to Lagos. That's when my mom walked in, her wrapper tied tight around her waist and her eyes looking as red as hot pepper soup. She pointed straight at me and said, "Look at you. You're 36 years old, and you were dancing like a child at your younger cousin's wedding." I rolled my eyes and answered, "Come on, Mom, I'm not 36 yet. Lau, it's still 2 months away." She threw her hands up to heaven as if she was calling God to come help her. "What difference does it make? Tell me, you're almost 40, Zara. Are you still going to keep pretending everything is fine?" Then she fixed her eyes on me and asked, "Zara, where's your husband? Do you even have a boyfriend right now?" I just ignored her, kept cooking, and said calmly, "Mom, please, I'm focusing on my work." But my mother refused to let it go. She planted her feet firmly on the kitchen floor and declared, "Ha, I will go to your office at Wempy Bank myself. I'll tell them they must give you 6 months of leave to find a husband. After all, you've worked there for 9 years. If someone gets pregnant, they give them maternity leave, right? So they should give you leave for husband hunting too." Honestly, if you know my mom, you'd know she's perfectly capable of doing exactly that. So I held her gently, looked her in the eyes, and said softly, "Okay, Mummy. I heard what you said." Back in Lagos, where my body and soul truly belong, my friend Kemi was already waiting for me. We had a gig that evening. You know the type of friend who looks jobless. Okay, she works online, so she has plenty of time for everybody's business. As soon as I saw her, I poured out everything. My mom's drama in the village, how she almost called God down to force me into marriage. I told Kemi, "Abeg, let everybody rest. Husband, yes, but not now." Kemi just grabbed my hand and said, "You remember the dating show I once told you about?" She looked me dead in the eyes. "Zara, I swear, 4 people I know personally have found love on that dating show." She didn't even wait for me to talk. She continued, "Remember Sandra's sister? The one with too many muscles from gyming? She couldn't catch anybody before, but now she's married to Anthony Jordan from the show." Then she added, "And you know Amarachi, aka Americana, that influencer who always posts soft life videos? She found her own Bobo from America through that same dating show. They had a fairy tale wedding in Miami, and now she's an international blogger with 14 million followers. People even call them couple goals." I snapped back, "Kemi, it's a lie. Amarachi only has 1.4 million followers, not 14 million. Kemi just rolled her eyes and carried on. "Okay, fine, but I heard even Michaela met Obama on that show." That's when I raised my eyebrow, side-eyed her, and said, "Kemi, you're becoming part of my problem now." She just burst out laughing. But deep down, she really wanted me to make a move. I won't lie, my heart cut small. Between my mom's constant reminders that I'll soon be 40 and my last period that came so scanty, I started fearing menopause. The pressure was real. That night, I called Mirage directly and told her, book me a special lineup of 20 to 30 men. I want options. I gave my full specifications: ability, capability, financial status. No one should come looking unfresh. And trust me, I paid the price for this private show. We agreed not to post it online unless I approved, just in case everything flopped. I even wrote down my questions carefully. You might need a pen and paper for this because I came fully prepared. After all, I am the prize. Yes, now. And that's how I found myself on stage. Lights shining, cameras rolling, balloons floating everywhere. They told me, if you pop the right balloon, you'll find your soulmate. I was determined. My heart was pounding like a generator on full blast. Just check out the men's lineup. 18 fine men, all taller than 6 feet, teeth shining like Lagos third mainland bridge lights at night. They were exactly what I ordered. In my mind, I kept thinking, even you, single, why haven't we met before? I had my questions ready, one for each man. But before we continue, please check me out. Fine babe, no comma. I introduced myself with confidence. My name is Zara Adi, senior corporate banker, LLP, CCTV, LOL, cable network, 35 years old, seeking a good man who is God-fearing and serious about a long-term relationship. They all shared their details too, and I was quite impressed. I told myself, I must go home with my bone today. I started with the first general question. If you're married or already have children, please step off now. And just like that, 5 men stepped off the stage, and the real selection began. So I stepped up to the first man, Segun, beard looking so soft it could mop tears. I asked him straight up, let's not waste each other's time. Are you single, or are you technically single? Segun's eyes started dancing left and right like police sirens. Technically, it's complicated. I just snapped my fingers and said, next. Then came the second man, Chidi, dark-skinned, chest like granite countertop. I work hard and play harder. Can you keep up, or should I grab my purse right now? Chidi leaned in with a smirk. I can keep up, but what if I want to outdo you? The whole crowd went, ooh, but me? I kept my face straight like I was in a board meeting. Third man, Bio, looking like he stepped right out of a fitness magazine, muscles everywhere. Ever been heartbroken? Or are you the heartbreaker? Bio's tough face softened like butter on hot bread. I was heartbroken once, but I've learned. I almost smiled. In my head, I was like, that answer sweet me small. Then I faced the fourth man, Femi, dressed like a church elder but eyes like a stubborn Lagos boy. Describe yourself in 3 words and don't say humble. You'll be lying. Femi chuckled. Ambitious, loyal, playful. Not bad, I thought. Fifth man, Tari, American accent sharper than new blade. What's the most expensive mistake you've ever made in love? Tari took a deep, dramatic breath. I paid rent for someone who moved out the next week. The whole hall screamed, "Ha!" including me. Sixth man, Emeka, eyes shining with mischief like he already had plans. Would you be proud to introduce me to your mother? Emeka didn't miss a beat. Proud? I'll carry you on my head to her doorstep. The crowd exploded in laughter. I almost lost my composure. Then suddenly the presenter Mirage swung the mic to me with that her wicked grin. Zara, what is your own toxic trait? And what would you do if your mother-in-law insists on sitting in front of the car with your husband? My mouth dried instantly. I stuttered. My toxic trait is, and for the mother-in-law? Honestly, I don't want any man whose mother is still alive. The whole place went silent for 2 seconds. Then the crowd shouted, What? Just like that, 7 men quietly stepped down from the stage. My heart started pounding like generator on overload. I thought to myself, this is serious. Oh, is this how love will pass me by? At this point, I could literally hear my heart pounding in my ears. We were down to the final 6 guys, and the energy on that stage was electric. We kept going back and forth. They asked me their own questions. I answered them honestly, and I also pressed them with deeper questions of my own. I wanted to know what they were really about, not just what they rehearsed. But there was one guy who kept catching my eye, Tega, a funny guy with this confident swagger that made him stand out from the rest. I couldn't help but notice how he watched me closely, his eyes following me every time I moved. Every time our eyes met, he'd give me a playful side glance that made my stomach flutter. His cologne filled the stage like he had just stepped out of a luxury perfume ad. Then came my favorite question. Would you rather spoil me emotionally or financially? Tega looked me straight in the eyes, a slight smile playing on his lips, and said calmly, both. Why settle? In that moment, my heart screamed, that's my man! It was like music started playing in my head, soft, sweet, and perfect. I could feel myself leaning in. I knew exactly where I wanted to be. The host smiled wide, looked at both of us, and asked the final question to seal the deal. Tega gave another confident answer, and everyone in the crowd started clapping. And just like that, we had a match.
You were meant for me, and I was made for you. Every step I take keeps leading me.
After the show, things moved fast, like really fast. Tega and I went on 2 dates at a high-end rooftop restaurant in Ikoyi. Everything felt straight out of a romance movie. Over candlelit dinners, Tega told me he was into Forex trading, with an office in Abuja, but plans to open one in Lagos soon. We talked about our dreams, our futures, and I was swept off my feet. He told me he owned houses in both Abuja and Lagos. My head was spinning, and then he suggested we go on a holiday to Paris or Dubai. Whew. In my mind, I thought, this guy is swimming in money. Oh, let me just keep living this baby girl life. Later that week, he sent me options to choose from some of the fanciest hotels in Dubai. Just like that, I applied for my much-awaited leave, packed my bags, and got ready for 10 days of lockdown with Tega in Dubai. As we planned, I couldn't stop humming Bob Marley's Is This Love That I'm Feeling? Because that's exactly how my soul felt. Mirage kept calling, eager to post our love story online. But I told her to wait until after the Dubai trip. I wanted it perfect. On the day of our flight, Tega sent a limousine to pick me up for the airport. What? I was shocked. We got to Dubai, and the first 2 days passed like 2 hours. I was in a serious love choke, and I couldn't hold it anymore. I sent a chat to Mirage. No going back. I've found my love. The next morning, Tega looked worried. He told me his account had been suspended, and he'd been getting calls from the bank. I said, oh, baby, don't worry. I'll sort things out for you. We carried on with our trip, eating, sightseeing, and having the time of our lives. On the last day, the unthinkable happened. Tega proposed. Even though it was a private moment, not the viral, over-the-top proposal I dreamed of, it was still beautiful. We were walking past a jewelry store in Dubai, and I spotted the same ring I'd admired before, worth 10,000 pounds. Later that evening, during our last dinner in Dubai, Tega slipped same ring onto my finger and asked if I would continue the journey of life with him. That ring sparkled like magic. Tega really outdid himself. I was over the moon. I posted it immediately on my status, and the congratulations started pouring in. By then, our dating show video was already out, so everyone knew. Our love story went viral, and people started calling us couple goals. Some fans even opened blogs just to post updates about us, Everything was happening so fast. Back in Lagos, we went straight to Tega's condo in Banana Island. It was breathtaking. Marble floors, glass walls, the whole luxury vibe. But the next morning, the building management dropped a letter saying they were shutting off the system because Tega's card had declined. He just waved it off, saying, "Oh, I'll sort it with the bank on Monday. It's the weekend now." I offered, "Let's go stay at my place." So we moved into my house, which was comfortable enough for both of us. Tega praised how I'd been taking care of everything for 9 days straight and promised to spoil me once his account was sorted out. He explained that investigations and account holds were common in his line of business, and I believed him. He sounded so convincing. He even showed me a credit alert on his phone for a 100 million naira transaction and said he'd sort it all out soon. I felt so proud of my man. Almost immediately, we started planning our wedding. Tega said we should seal the deal quickly. I remembered my birthday was coming up next month, and as you can guess, we decided to plan the wedding around it. In just 6 weeks, everything was already in motion, from picking venues to shopping for rings. My head was spinning with excitement. Was this really happening? My dreams were finally coming true. It all started small, like tiny drops of rain before a storm. One morning, the wedding decorator called me. She said the payment for our hall booking had bounced. I tried to stay calm, thinking, maybe it's that bank Wahala Tega keeps talking about. I paid it myself and moved on. But the very next day, the cake vendor called me directly, asking when the balance would be paid or if they should cancel the order. My stomach dropped. I called Tega immediately. He picked up on the third ring, laughing loudly like everything was fine. "Oh, baby, don't mind them," he said. "It's these useless banks again. I'll sort it out tomorrow." But something felt off. That night, Tega stepped outside 3 times to answer calls, whispering and pacing like he was hiding something. When I asked what was going on, he brushed me off with that charming smile. "It's just work. You won't understand." My heart grew heavy, but he quickly used his usual charm. "My mother's expecting us next week, you know," he said with those playful, lustful eyes of his. "She's already preparing your favorite pepper soup and pom-pom. We'll also steal time to visit your favorite waterfall. And you know what will happen there." "Stop it," I said, blushing and trying to hide my smile. When things calmed down, I said softly, "Honey, could you share your account officer's contact? Maybe I can help get that EFCC clearance faster." He came out of the kitchen, phone in hand, and showed me a text that claimed his account officer said all the directors had signed and the account would be good in 2 weeks. I felt relieved. But then it hit me. 2 weeks meant after our wedding. 2 days later, he called me sounding devastated. "Honey, my agent just told me they'll give the office space to someone else if we don't pay soon. They can't wait 2 weeks." I wanted to help him so badly. "Let me see what I can do," I said. "I'll have to liquidate my treasury bills since all the cash I had left went into the wedding planning." But Tega quickly replied, "No, my love, don't worry. If they can't wait, then let it go. I only like that office because it's close to your workplace. I don't want to be far from you, baby." His words melted my heart. But I insisted, "Honey, it's a rare deal. It's cheap for an office space in Ikoyi. Let me handle it." The next day, he sent the agent's account details and I transferred 15 million naira. I called my best friend Kemi right after and begged her to cancel the shopping for my bridesmaids. I told her I'd just get simple gifts instead. "Babe, what is going on?" Kemi said over the phone. "You sound so stressed. Are you okay?" I tried to brush it off, but Kemi wasn't convinced. "In fact," she said, "I'm coming to your house this weekend. This wedding planning over the phone isn't working." And so that weekend, just 7 days before my wedding, Kemi showed up all the way from Port Harcourt to Lagos. The moment I saw her, I burst into laughter. Plenty gist to talk about. I didn't even realize how much I'd missed her. We sat down together on the couch, bridal magazines and shopping bags scattered all around us like confetti. Kemi looked me straight in the eyes and asked softly, "Babe, are you okay?" I tried to laugh it off. "Oh, wedding stress," but my voice cracked mid-sentence. Kemi didn't push it. She smiled gently and said, "Now that I'm here, let's get everything sorted. Tell me what's left so I can help, at least for these 2 days." I sighed in relief. "Okay, let's go see the caterer. That's the last big thing, aside from Tega's suits and a few outfits." Kemi looked at me for a moment, her eyes searching my face, but said nothing. We drove to the caterer's office, sampled the menu, and wow, the food was delicious. We finalized the courses, but I had to cut a few items to keep costs down. "Let's just streamline things," I told the caterer. "We'll remove the extras to reduce the bill." As we wrapped up, the caterer pulled me aside and said softly, "Madam Zara, the last payment didn't go through. We need the balance today, please." "What?" I let out a small gasp, my heart dropping. I forced a smile and said, "All right, please send me the account details. I'll sort it out today." She nodded, reminding me gently, "The full payment." "Oh, thank you, Zara." When we got back to the car, Kemi asked, "What was that scream about?" I quickly lied, "Oh, she gave me a huge discount and I was just excited." Kemi laughed, chatting away during the drive, but my mind was miles away. Back home, I told Kemi that Tega would be back tomorrow. She was excited, already planning how she'd tease us together. Later that night, Tega called. I told him Kemi was around, my voice bubbling with excitement about them meeting. But on the other end, Tega fell quiet. The silence stretched so long I felt something twist in my chest. Doubt settled deeper in my heart. Like I feared, he didn't come back the next day as promised. Kemi waited, but finally left. I was grateful she came, but I wasn't done with wedding errands. Even though I cut down expenses, weddings aren't small matters. Imagine spending $25 million of my own money, plus the $15 million for the office space. I didn't even know how much Tega had contributed, if anything. One thing was certain. An elite wedding in Ikoyi in 2025 is not cheap, Abeg. With just 3 days left to the wedding, my head was spinning, but my heart was still over the moon as I drifted off to sleep. Before I even opened my eyes the next morning, Tega was already home. I jumped on him in excitement. He said he wanted to surprise me. He loved pulling romantic surprises like this. Then he thanked me deeply for paying for his suit. "Saxi's signature just sent me a text that it's been paid for," he said with a big smile. "Saxi?" I asked, confused. "I thought I sent the payment to a personal account." "Oh, that's one of their workers," he replied quickly, cutting me off mid-sentence. Before I could question it further, he swept me into his arms and showed me how much he missed me, and just like that, we drifted off to a sleep. I woke up before him to prepare breakfast. I noticed an extra phone had slipped out of his bag onto the floor. It was an Infinix. No, Tega uses an iPhone. And then I saw his normal phone. So I picked it up, the Infinix, with trembling hands and went into the kitchen. When I unlocked it, I wasn't ready for what I saw. All the messages he'd been showing me from his supposed account officer were there, sent straight from this phone. All the dealings and details I have been sending funds. Wait, what? I scrolled further and found drafts of more credit alerts and fake payments he was planning to show me that morning. My whole body started shaking. Tears filled my eyes. I called Kemi immediately. "Kemi, I've been duped." Kemi, ever the tech genius, sent me a link to an app so I could clone the phone data for monitoring. She said it would copy everything from the phone without him knowing. I sent her all the account details I'd been paying into as well, then carefully slipped the phone back into his suitcase like nothing happened. I pulled myself together, went into the kitchen, finished making breakfast, and sat at my laptop, pretending to be busy when he finally woke up. He came up behind me, wrapped his arms around me, and whispered, Hi, my lovely. He showered me with kisses and sweet words like he always did. I forced a small smile, trying to act normal. You look tired. Are you okay? He asked. No, it's work, I sighed dramatically. It's promotion month. If I get it, I'll become regional manager, double pay, you know? I had to account for my shift in mood. I couldn't risk him suspecting anything. His eyes lit up. You work so hard, he praised me, rubbing my shoulders. I smirked inwardly. He then pulled out his phone to show me pictures of a resort in Abuja. It's almost done. I only need about. I did not allow him to finish. You know, I don't have any money. He looked at me and continued excitedly. We should have our honeymoon there and use the wedding hype to promote it, just like how Cubana chief priest advertises his businesses, he added, looking straight into my eyes with that familiar intensity. I jumped into his arms, squealing, Honey, this is amazing, but I don't have money. Then he quickly added, I got another 200 million yesterday. I can't wait for all the investigations to be over. I thought the investigation was done already, I said carefully. Just some due diligence left before they open your account? He reached for his phone again and showed me what looked like evidence, but when I scanned the screen, I noticed the 100 million credit alert he showed me earlier wasn't included. But your balance, no, it doesn't show the 100 million, I pointed out. He didn't miss a beat. Oh, that's because there's a lien on the account, baby. My hands clenched. I almost slapped him right there. But Kemi's voice echoed in my head, reminding me to stay calm and stick to the plan. Kemi came back with her findings, and what she discovered shattered me. The account I'd been paying into all along wasn't for any house agent. It belonged to a foreign exchange firm. The same man I paid for the office space, the suit, everything, Sus, all traced back to this account. It was just 2 days to the wedding. Kemi promised to fly in tomorrow instead of on the wedding day as she'd originally planned. You will go along with the wedding, Kemi urged me over the phone. What? I can't keep up this show, I cried out. You have to continue, Zara, she insisted. This is what I'd do if I am in your shoes. We will share the disgrace. Do not let him go scot-free. She laid down the plan carefully. How to move forward, what to watch for, and how to gather evidence. Think about it and let me know, she said firmly before boarding her flight to Lagos. That evening, I told Tega, since your friends will be arriving tomorrow, you should move into the hotel tonight and miss me for 2 days. You can't stay here tonight. He tried to negotiate. Can't we just spend one last night together? No, Guy, I said, standing my ground. That will have to wait until after the wedding. Please go. He laughed, raising an eyebrow. So now I'm Guy, not honey? I forced a smile. Yes, for now, we're celibate until the wedding. Ah, I see what you're trying to do, he said, dialing on his phone. Moments later, he sent me hotel booking details for payment. 6 rooms at High Hilton Hotel for his friends, he texted. I gasped. Guy, your friends must be billionaires. I quickly corrected myself, adding sweetly, Honey, they should cover their own bills. You know my money is finished. I'm just waiting for the wedding spray money to chill small until your account is released. Yes, yes, he nodded, grabbed some food, packed his suitcase, and left for the hotel. That night, Kemi came back. The moment I saw her, I let it all out, crying like a wounded goat. My chest felt like it would burst. Kemi held me tightly and said, We'll cry later, Zara. For now, we need to finish this. He must not know what we know. The wedding day finally came. Guests arrived one after the other, the hall filled with music and chatter. But many of Tega's supposed rich friends started calling to cancel. Exactly what I'd thought. Tega kept giving me updates over the phone in his calm, sweet voice, reassuring me everything was fine. But deep inside, my heart was heavy. Then the moment came. I stepped into my bridals, dressed in my white gown, ready for the plan. The plan was to walk to the altar, say, I don't right there, and have him arrested on the spot. But Tega was smarter than I was. He never showed up. Gasp after gasp filled the hall as everyone realized the groom was missing. Murmurs spread like wildfire. My legs buckled. I fainted twice. Meanwhile, Kemi had already reported everything to the police and they were on the lookout. And guess what happened? On the very same day, as I stood waiting at the altar, the police caught Tega at the Lagos airport, trying to flee to the United Kingdom. My people, I won't lie, I was not all right. I kept fainting over and over again. When I finally got discharged from the hospital, I went straight to Kemi. I flew to Port Harcourt. We sat together in her apartment, reflecting on everything that had happened. I was shattered, lost and tired, and angry. But life has its own plans. 5 years later, I met a man, yes, the same man I'd rejected on the dating show because he'd been married before and had a child. His name is David. His wife had died 8 years ago, leaving him with a beautiful little girl. He told me he never tried dating again after that show, but when we met again at Kemi's book launch, it felt like fate brought us back together. We fell in love slowly, honestly, and today we're a happy family. The police were able to recover some of my money from Tega, and a few wedding vendors refunded part of the payments when our story went viral online. But the biggest lesson I learned is this: never let pressure from family, friends, or society, even your age, force you into marriage and into anything. Don't chase a perfect image or the idea of the best man when you don't even know who he truly is or what he has to offer. Don't judge someone for having a past you think makes them unworthy of your love, because real love isn't about perfection. It's about two imperfect but people willing to build something true together. Please, my people, no. Continue to pray for me.
If you love this story, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on your notifications. Afriwis brings you weekly stories twice as juicy. And yes, most of our stories are inspired by real life, with all names withheld to protect privacy. These stories are not just entertainment. You'll learn something valuable in each one. For collaborations or to share your own story, kindly reach out to us. Thank you for being here. See you next time on Afriwis.